Hi, I'm Captain Grant Coppin with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report.
Well, we've had a good week this week, catching a lot of redfish in the ICW. I know the tide's high, but all the bait's right here along the edge. Both catching them in the ditch, seeing jackfish blowing up and down the ICW from here all the way to the turnoff at the Bluff Landing Channel. Just come up and down here, look for the birds working, the pelicans diving. Really, the pelicans diving. That's what tuned me in. I'm sitting here catching a couple of redfish, and I looked up and there were the jackfish right behind me, so we went and played those for a little bit. Live shrimp seems to be the ticket, but if you can get some live finger mullet too, that works real well. The live shrimp are catching more black drum, the live mullet are catching more redfish. Over here in Nighthawk, these drains still are producing redfish. The high tides get up tight to the shore. Throw your cut bait in the sand, both the cut mullet and cut manhaden. Cut skipjack if you can find them. They've kind of been hit and miss with the weather changing. You know, those skipjacks don't like the cold weather, so mostly mullet and manhaden. The manhaden, I'm getting them in the packery, and the mullet, just about anywhere you go, you can find mullet. But all these little cut throughs between the islands, I typically like to get in one of the cut throughs where not a whole lot of boat traffic is coming through, because that's going to have more fish on it. Some of these major cut throughs, you'll have boat after boat after boat coming into Nighthawk, so stay away from those, or get into some of these that really don't have good boat access unless you have a real shallow running boat. These little drains have just been game changers. You come up into here and catch 2 or 3 redfish pretty much every drain. Some of them, just sit there all day long and catch redfish. But anyway, just sit in there, catch plenty of fish, and have a good time. Down here on the Bird Island spoils, we've been catching good fish around the islands, redfish mainly. But there's been some black drum over here. I haven't done a whole lot with the trout this year, and I'm just letting them rest. There are trout around here to be caught, but we need our trout population to come back. So if you want some real good hard pulling action, lots of drum around here. Look for the drum on the surface. The redfish also, when they're up top, chasing the menhaden, or just throw a couple pieces of cut bait in that strong wind and current, and you'll catch lots of fish up on top of these spoils. Over here on the South Shore, Baffin, from Corrales to Black Bluff, we've been catching a lot of fish up on this edge. Still dealing with those high tides, which is good. You just got to use everything to your advantage. Whenever I'm giving these reports, I like to tell y'all where to go, but really use the conditions to your advantage. A lot of people say, oh no, I'm not going to go down to the South Shore at Baffin because it's blowing 30 miles an hour. Well, if you come down here to the South Shore and you know how to get down here, run the shoreline, come inside Penascal, and stay up tight. Don't go out there where all the rocks are, because, it's rough out there. And just stay up tight and go from the bank out to the drop-off and just fish this all day. It could be blowing 100 miles an hour, and this shoreline is still going to be good. So come down here. The windy days are the better days, but, doesn't mean that a non-windy day does not going to catch fish on this shore. It's just you're going to do better on those windier days as opposed to the gut slick calm days. The gut slick calm days are the good days to come down here where it's nice and clear and clean, and you can sight cast and have some fun, not catch a whole lot of fish, but have some fun picking off fish, which I love to do. I love to watch them eat it. If you want to load the box, come down here when it's blowing 15, 20. Over here, just around the corner of Compuerta, been catching good redfish on this shoreline, fishing the drains mainly, all the way down to the tip of the tide gauge bar. Now, I haven't gone down behind the tide gauge bar, but I don't have to know that the fish are going to be down here too. All these little back lakes, all these little drains and sand pockets have redfish on them. I just haven't been this far yet. So you want to continue this pattern all the way down the back side of the tide gauge. The mullet are in here. There's a bunch of little puppy drum and keeper drum on top of the bar. If you get tired of catching redfish, come over here to the bar, get on top of the bar, and just throw shrimp on a jig head and just let it sit there. And those little puppy drum and just good eating size drum come through here on top of the sand through the tide gauge.
Captain Grant Coppin, thanks for watching.